everyone! Welcome to our new episode of LDR at Home. I am Yoneze Dinopol together with my co-host Loveline Arcillas. Join us as we continue our journey on discovering mythology and folklore. On this video, we will tackle the mythology of South America. So are you ready? Let's start! South Americans are natural storytellers no matter how far back you go, and they've told their stories in all kinds of ways, through music and dance, literature and film, rock carvings and architectures, and even through the things left behind long ago. Before we start, let me remind you of the differences between mythology and religion. Mythology is usually a combination of real events, folklore, regional superstitions, and legends that create a wider but not necessarily interconnected system of cultural beliefs, while religion is considered to be more about a devotion to a faith or observance. While mythologies are different from religions, that is not to say that two never intersect, because they often do. So now, I guess we can start now our exciting journey towards South America's oldest and richest stories. Let us first discuss the ancient indigenous mythologies of South America.
The indigenous peoples of the Americas comprise numerous different cultures. Each has its own mythologies. Some are quite distinct, but certain themes are shared across the cultural boundaries.
First ancient indigenous mythology of South America is Chiltay mythology.
Chiltay mythology is formed by the myths, legends, and beliefs of the people who live in Chiloé archipelago in the south of Chile. This mythology reflects the importance of the sea in the life of Chilos. It is based on a mixture of indigenous religions and beliefs from the natives that live in the archipelago of Chiloé and the legends and superstitions brought by the Spanish conquistadors. Central to this mythology is the story of the sea serpents, Kakayvilu and Tentenvilu, whose legendary battle was what led to the creation of the archipelago itself. The vast majority of Chiltay mythological beings were said to live in the sea.
Next up, we have the Mapuche mythology.
There are no written records of the Mapuche mythology's legends or stories prior to the arrival of the Spanish. Theirs is an oral tradition passed down generation to generation, which means there are a number of variations and versions of their myths. It also incorporates several elements of the Argentinian and Chilean folklore. This ancient belief system, common to the various groups that make up the indigenous Mapuche people of Argentina and Chile, tell of the creation of the world and the gods and spirits that inhabit it. Cosmology and the belief that spirits coexist with humans in the natural world are central to the Mapuche mythology.
Isn't it fun? Now let's continue with Muisca mythology.
Muisca mythology includes a wide variety of legendary creatures. We have the legend El Dorado, the story of a mythical tribal chief who covered himself with gold dust, then submerged in Lake Guadavita. El Dorado was the term used by the Spanish Empire when they spoke of the legendary chief. That legend has evolved over time as El Dorado was later said to be a city, then it was a country, and finally a long-lost golden empire, which really demonstrates how stories can take on a whole life of their own through time and tellings, so much so that they can come to have real influence in people's lives.
I know some of you are already familiar with El Dorado. Anyway, let's proceed to the last ancient indigenous mythology of South America that we will tackle, the Inca mythology.
The Inca mythology was used to explain natural phenomena, provide moral instruction, and convey cultural hierarchy to the people of the empire. The motions of the Milky Way as it moved above Cuzco, the Incan center of the world, played a key role in the Incan understanding of their existence. The many stories and legends that comprise the greater Inca mythology are often quite contradictory to one another. This is because, like the Romans, the Inca permitted the cultures they conquered to keep their individual religions, and through the centuries, these have been integrated or served overlapping roles.
Now let us have a glimpse of Inca's gods and their stories through my co-host Loveline. Love?
Thanks, Lyle. Inca Empire spanned a significant part of the western South America. It reached its peak during the 13th century and lasted until 1572, when they were conquered by the Spanish, who later record their oral myths. These are some of the most prominent deities of the Inca pantheon. First, we have Viracocha, main creator god of the Inca. In the beginning, there was no sun or moon and only giants roamed the earth. Viracocha made a rule which was never to be broken. What that rule was is unknown, but the giants disobeyed and were wiped out. Viracocha tried again, this time, first commanding the sun and the moon to rise from a lake. He created humans. He then went to the center of the earth and carved the names of all the tribes of the world, commanding his human creations to farm them. He later retired to the sky, but every so often he returned to the earth disguised as a beggar. These visits, however, caused him to weep because of all humankind's failings. One day, his tears will be so great it will drown the world. Next, we have Pachamama, wife of Viracocha, mother of Inti and Mama Killa. Pachamama is Mother Earth, however, her appearance is somewhat unique. She is the earth dragon who crawls and slithers under the earth, causing plants to grow and sometimes the earth to shake. Next, we have Inti. Perhaps the most popular and well-worshipped of the Inca gods is Inti, the god of the sun. He is the son of Viracocha and the father of Manco Capac. He was represented as a sun disk, and much like the Egyptian pharaohs who identified with Ra, many Inca emperors were believed to be the reincarnation of Inti. Fourth is Mama Killa. Mama Killa is the goddess of the moon and wife to Inti. She often wears the moon disk on her head as a crown. Her name literally means Mother Moon. She was the daughter of Viracocha in some myths. Fifth is Ayarkaki. Inti had 4 sons, one of whom was Ayarkaki. In the myth about the 4 brothers, Ayarkaki was incredibly powerful compared to his brothers. He could use his slingshot to shoot stones at the sky, creating rain and thunder. Sixth is Manco Capac. In some versions of the myth, after having outlasted his 3 other brothers, Manco Capac marries his sister, Mama Oclo, and the two are given a golden staff by their father Inti. They are instructed to go and find a perfect place for a civilization to begin. Seventh is Mama Oclo. Her name means Mother Fertility. Mama Oclo was the only named daughter of Inti and Mama Killa. She married her brother, Manco Capac, and with him helped found Cuzco, the center of the Inca civilization.
Thank you, Love! Of course, when there are gods, we also have monsters. Now let us know the 7 legendary monsters of South American mythology.
Yakumama. The Yakumama is an ancient sea monster that lives in the Amazon River. It's a giant snake with a horned head, sometimes described as up to 160 feet long. Cuero. El Cuero means cow hide. The Chilean monster of that name lives in Lake Lacar in the Andes and resembles a splayed hide with a hairless head and backbone. The legend may have arisen from sightings of freshwater stingrays, although El Cuero is larger and has eyes on stalks as well as claws. It also has a mouth protruding from its midsection through which it sucks blood from its victims. Hombre Caiman. El Hombre Caiman, or the Alligator Man, haunts the coast of Colombia. According to the legend, he was a human in love with a woman whose father, a rice merchant, did not approve. El Hombre ate rice in a restaurant and saw his love swimming in the sea and left to join her. He repeated this habit day after day until he became an alligator and the two swam away forever. Encantado. The Encantado, also known as the Mohana, is a dolphin but one with evil powers. From Uncle John's endlessly engrossing bathroom reader, Encantado means enchanted one in Portuguese and refers to a special kind of boro, or long-beaked river dolphin native to the Amazon that can take human form. Maricoxi. The Maricoxi is a South American ape man, possibly analogous to Bigfoot, described by the explorer Colonel Percy Fawcett as enormous hairy savages that threatened his party with bows and arrows but could not speak except for grunts. Wallopan. The Wallopan is a Chilean chimera with the head of a calf, the body of a sheep, and twisted feet. The monster lives in rivers and lakes and will mate with livestock, producing deformed offspring. Even the sight of the Wallopan can cause a pregnant woman to bear a deformed baby. Madremonte. La Madremonte, or Mother Mountain, is a Colombian spirit reminiscent of the Irish banshee. This large woman with bulging, glowing eyes lives in the forest. Her clothing is made of leaves and moss. Madremonte controls the weather and causes invaders to her territory to lose their way. The closest most people to get to her is to hear her screams and wails coming from the woods on a dark night. Pachacamac, the sun, rose slowly from the lake Titicaca. Pachacamac was so bright that nothing else could be seen in the sky but him. But the night sky was empty, so he made the stars, the planets, and the moon. The beautiful moon became his wife, and together they ruled the heavens and the earth. Pachacamac fashioned the first humans from the stone of an enormous mountain of rock. The first humans were pitiful creatures. They knew nothing of the world nor how to survive in it. The sun and the moon bore a son and a daughter. Out of pity, they sent their children to the earth to help them. The son of Pachacamac taught men how to plow and plant the fields and how to build houses. The daughter of the moon approached the women and taught them the art of weaving and how to prepare food. Teach the humans to be kind and fair. I will provide light and warmth every day without fail, but make sure they never forget their creators. Pachacamac's son became the first Inca. He and his sister's wife ruled the first humans. After a while, the Inca and his wife took a long journey to find the perfect place for his people to settle. At every stop, they stuck one of their father's golden rods in the earth. Each golden rod would be a symbol for his people to build a city. When they reached the valley of Guanacauri, the golden rod sunk into the ground and disappeared. Inca decided that here should be the site of the first temple of the sun, and that here is where he and his people would settle. Inca and his wife set off to gather his people. He went north and his wife wandered south. The children of the sun were beautiful and spoke convincingly about Pachacamac and his principles of law. When they met people in small villages, the people were so moved that they left their homes and followed the Inca and his wife to the valley of Guanacauri. Soon they had followers from their entire region. The followers of Inca's wife settled with her in the south, and her city was Hurin Cuzco, southern city. Inca and his followers settled in the northern part of the valley and named their town Hanan Cuzco, city of the north. From then on, all Inca cities were divided into northern and southern halves, representing the male and female forces.
That's it! We hope you learned something from this video. As a recap, here are some important points for you. To test what you've learned, we prepared a simple quiz for you. Are you ready? Here we go. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. See you in our next episode. Again, this is Yoneze Dinopol with my co-host Loveline Arcillas. See you next time here on LDR at Home. Hope you learned something.